Not all social engineering is bad. Welcome to day 227 until I'm a YouTube millionaire. Now, I've talked about this many a time. I've even written some essays about it back several years ago. But essentially all the different concepts that I bring up here are in some way a form of positive social engineering. It really depends on the intent of the individuals, the objectives of the individuals behind the social engineering, what the end consequence of it is. So, for example, if you carry out a time machine manipulation that causes a subtle change to a particular line of time that leads to a Mandela effect, and that Mandela effect is meant to more cohere your past beliefs with future objective reality, then there's nothing wrong with that. Let's say, as an example, that in some previous timeline, and you can do this with the past because we don't live in the past, it's much easier to Mandela effect the past than it is the present. Let's say in some previous line of time, Jesus didn't actually exist or didn't actually die on the cross. If we have a time machine, we can go back in time and we can make somebody do that. And there's no greater person to do that than the man himself, the one carrying out the whole process of saving humanity from the mess that we're in. It is another means by which you can socially engineer the whole of your civilization species in a positive way. If the end goal of said social engineering is to destroy everything, to cause infinite entropy, and you can actually see that consequence, so intent aligns with the objective reality if said individuals are allowed to carry out their manipulations, their social engineering, then obviously that's nefarious and bad. You don't want that. What's going on with Epstein? I believe, and I believe this from the start, is intentional Streisand Effect. Intentional Streisand Effect being a form of contemporary social engineering. You get everybody to pay attention to the Epstein issue, the client list, the backtracking, the betrayal, the infighting on the right, and you'll even get the left media outlets to cover it. Tim Pool is actually discussing this right now. He's simply saying in words that I was trying to avoid because I was actually playing into the Streisand Effect myself, that this is in fact what it is. So ordering is the sister of timing. He says this on his video, then I come to the conclusion that, okay, I can say something on mine, even though I have a much smaller picture, a much smaller reach than he does. But quality over quantity. It could very well be that within those 20 to 50 people that watch my videos on a regular basis, one of them is the vice president, and I don't even know it because they don't comment, or they don't subscribe, or anything like that. This is out there as the signal in the noise. Not all social engineering is bad. And considering this is basically a crux, a critical component to the whole of our civilization. If we can't protect our children, then we don't have one. Then everybody needs to be in unity, left and right, Democrat, Republican, racist and non-racist, just saying that, against abuse of children. Everybody must be in unity against that. So the Streisand Effect makes it bigger and bigger and bigger. Giggity. I knew this from the start. I was just playing my part. And take that to heart. Don't be a tart. Or Paul Blart. Okay, I'm done. Sorry. No, but in all seriousness. And that's why endurance is so hugely important. Because while you can do the Mandela effect in the past, you can do it in the present as well. It's just very, very, very much harder. Because people are actually living in this point of reference. The farther back in time something is, the easier it is to change things around, so long as people aren't focusing on that one thing or don't have direct objective evidence of it. Now, with a time machine, you could go back there and take a look, see what happened. With writing, you can make that writing true. This is why and how, when you write something, it cannot be undone. It is written, therefore. So that means even if in your timeline it is not the case, somebody is going to go back who believes in it and make it the case. That's the whole foundational idea behind my novel series. The scientist looks back into the past and sees that Jesus did not exist. So he makes him exist. And makes people's belief collide with reality. Because these are people who deserve to win. That's how you make justice. So in our own modern time, the way you make justice is to foist a Streisand effect upon the population. If we can't protect children, then we can't protect anything. If we can't protect children, we have no civilization. This is everything. Everything. And everything that I've said about myself, about wanting a huge number of children, children being like diamonds, the more of them, the wealthier you actually are, all of that would be for naught if I didn't actually carry out my actions to prove it. So I exist in this sort of holding pattern in my own personal life because I know there's a lot of other stuff going on right now. Whether I have a place in it or not, I know I will at some point. Maybe past the Great Divide where we all go up to Eden, or maybe in this world as it stands, I don't know, but one way or another, there you go. This is everything, guys. If we can't protect our children, then what are we even having a civilization for? Can we even say we have one? So not all social engineering is bad. It depends on the intent of the individuals and whether or not they actually follow the objective consequences of their actions. And they can see that with perfect fidelity with a time machine. You go into the past, you make something align with what is written to be real, and then you look into the future and see the consequences of said action. If the consequences align with your intent, then there you go. Alright, that's all I got for today, guys. Not all social engineering is bad. Love y'all. Peace. Or as the Illuminati do it, peace.